Midnight Drearies.
In the quiet, rural town of Washington, D.C., strange and unsettling events began to unfold. An ominous presence had taken hold of an unsuspecting girl named Reagan. Her once serene life had transformed into a living nightmare, and the local priest, Father Marin, believed it was the work of a malevolent spirit. Reagan's family, desperate for help, reached out to the church for an exorcism. Father Marin, an experienced exorcist, answered their plea and arrived at the modest, centuries-old house on the outskirts of town. The small community gathered outside, their eyes filled with fear and curiosity. Father Marin, a man of faith and unwavering determination, prepared himself for the exorcism. He donned his priestly robes, held his crucifix, and began the ritual. The room was filled with the eerie chants and the faint scent of burning sage. Reagan's possessed form twisted and contorted as she hissed and growled, her voice distorted by an otherworldly presence. Father Marin recited the liturgy, but the demon within Reagan proved to be resilient. Its malevolent power surged, causing the walls to shake and the room to grow cold. Hours turned into days, and Father Marin's exorcism attempts were met with failure. He was exhausted, and his faith was beginning to waver. Reagan's condition worsened, and it became clear that a conventional exorcism was not enough. In a desperate act, Father Marin consulted the town's historian and supernatural expert, Amelia. She explained that there were legends of an ancient relic that could only be used in times of utmost desperation, a sacred wrestling belt imbued with spiritual powers. It was said that this belt was capable of driving out even the most malevolent of spirits. Amelia tracked down the belt and, with a heavy heart, brought it to the priest. Father Marin, skeptical but desperate, decided to give it a try. As he clasped the belt around his waist, it pulsed with an otherworldly energy. The priest returned to Reagan's possessed form, and with the relic on his waist, he felt a newfound strength. As he chanted the exorcism ritual once more, the demon reacted with fury. Reagan's body levitated, and objects in the room were hurled about. But Father Marin stood firm, the wrestling belt granting him an unexpected source of power. As the room shook, it was clear that the demon within Reagan was no ordinary spirit, it was the ancient being known as Pazuzu. Father Marin knew he had to take drastic measures. He looked at Amelia, who nodded in understanding. It was time for the unorthodox solution, the arrival of a wrestling legend. Hulk Hogan, who had retired from wrestling but never lost his sense of duty to protect the innocent, was called upon by Father Marin. The wrestling icon, along with his signature bandana and bulging 24-inch pythons, arrived in Washington, D.C. to take on the most unusual opponent of his career. Father Marin and Hulk Hogan tag-teamed up, with the priest using the spiritual power of the belt to weaken the demon, and Hogan using his strength and wrestling prowess to grapple with the malevolent force within Reagan. The Hulksters shouted out, "What you gonna do, Pazuzu, when Exorcismania runs wild on you?" And with that the epic battle between the supernatural and the physical began, shaking the very foundations of the house. "I've said my prayers and I've taken my vitamins, you're going down, Pazuzu," the thunder-lipped wonderwall of a man-beast Hogan said as he performed his legendary wrestling moves on the possessed girl, applying powerful atomic drops, body slams, and elbow smashes. With each move, the demon within Reagan weakened, its grip loosening. The townsfolk watched in awe and terror as the battle raged on. It seemed as though the very fate of their town hung in the balance. Finally, in a climactic showdown, Hogan executed his signature leg drop on the demon, yelling out, "The power of Christ compels you, brother," while Father Marin recited a powerful exorcism prayer. The combined force of the wrestler and the priest proved too much for the malevolent spirit. With an otherworldly roar, it was forced to leave Reagan's body, vanishing into the ether. Reagan collapsed, exhausted but free from the demonic presence. Father Marin thanked the rambunctious wrestler. Hulk Hogan responded, "No problem, brother. I mean father. But I'm keeping the belt." So the Hulkster walked off into the sunset, still a champion among us mere mortals.